Tuscaloosa to the nation. Crimson blood, no hesitation. Breaking news, recruiting buzz. If it's Bama, yeah, it's us. When the whistle blows, somebody ain't right. Flags are flying, man, they way offsides. Hot takes hitting like a goal line stand. Championship talk is the master plan. Cotton bringing fire, Jeff bringing facts. From Saturday nights to unhinged BAMs. Depth charts moving, portals spin. If it matters in Bama, we're dialed in. So lace them up, let the debate begin. No neutral zones, we cross the line to win. Crimson Tide talk, no place to hide. You're tuned in the way, yeah, offside. Let's go. Offside. Let's go. Offside. Let's go. Yeah. From Tuscaloosa to the nation. Crimson blood, no hesitation. Breaking news, recruiting buzz. If it's Bama, yeah, it's us. When the whistle blows, somebody ain't right. Flags are flying, man, they way offsides. Hot takes hitting like a goal line stand. Championship talk is the master plan. Cotton bringing fire, Jeff bringing facts. From Saturday nights to unhinged BAMs. Depth charts moving, portals spin. If it matters in Bama, we're dialed in. So lace them up, let the debate begin. No neutral zones, we cross the line to win. Crimson Tide talk, no place to hide. You're tuned in the way, yeah, offside. Let's go. Offside. Let's go.
Happy Thursday.
Welcome
in to Waaaay Offsides Live, your favorite source for all things Alabama, using my seductive voice because that intro kind of got me revved up, man. Got the engine, the motor running. Yes, Rammer Jammer Alex. It 100% is AI.
100%.
Did you expect Jeff and I to sit down and write a whole intro song?
And be able to spit bars like that?
Yeah.
Come on.
Do you say I'm white? I can't do that.
Come on.
Yeah, I struggle to put on my own shoes. Let's go to the chat really
from
quick.
Ohio. Sweet.
Justin Smith from Touchdown Alabama is supposed to be with us. We'll see if he pops in here in a little bit.
Here. Five Adams in the house. What's up? You beat Lance and he's ticked. You can tell.
Oh, yeah. First, congratulations.
What's up, Lance? Oh, there's five. Yeah. What's up, Saban Vickery? What's up here? Who else is in? Nicholas is in the house. What's up, Nicholas? Jay Bake, of course. Bake, what's up, bro? Bama Girl 2020. Roll Tide. Who else is in here? Got to shout out Alex, of course. Robert Hale from Ohio. I Bleed Crimson, bro. What's up? Appreciate it.
Yeah, we got a lot of folks in here.
Jay Walker. Go
Lance,
Steelers.
you're too slow, sir. Too slow.
Roll Tide. Roll Tide, RTR.
You know how I feel about James.
Hey, man, it's football speed. You can't just judge it based off the
come on
straight dash and tights, man. You got to put on pads and cleats. Football speed is different.
It's just a combine.
Brother Robert, man.
Like, what do you expect?
Appreciate you, dude. Appreciate you.
Bring that up, Jeff.
Hang on.
The chat's coming in quick.
Quick,
right, Robert,
dude.
thanks for the $10 super chat, brother.
From Ohio. Appreciate you, my friend. Roll Tide. Appreciate you very much. Very much. Thank you very much.
Built a birdhouse from a fence picket today. Congratulations, man. Awesome.
Smitty's right too, man. Smitty dead on.
Sorry, I'm just trying to get through all these comments.
Yeah.
We're gonna wait on Justin Smith. I haven't heard from him since this afternoon, so hopefully he does pop in.
Those guys are, man. They get busy. Last things come up.
You
just never know.
Because of Avery and Pauly, they're gonna think I'm lying a lot. But we were talking.
There's proof.
Just putting it out there.
Yeah, you're right, Smitty. He's on the hot seat for that too.
Oh, did he say that? I didn't see it. All right. Kalen DeBoer.
Doesn't matter what he does. It's never going to be good enough.
Instead of oatmeal cream pies. Did he say that he likes Swiss rolls? Is this a real thing, or are we being sarcastic? we being facetious?
There maybe is a hint of sarcasm in there, but he's 1,000% right.
Because he likes Swiss rolls. Swiss rolls, no. Swiss rolls are
no matter what he does,
trash,
no matter what he likes, it will never be good enough. You're right. He's safe.
Yeah, Adam, he's not being serious. Swiss rolls are trash, man. I don't like breaded chocolate.
I was with you, Smitty. I was reading you there, but you're right. But there's some truth to that.
I hope everybody's having a good week, man. Jeff, you having a good week?
Yes. It's my last day of the work week, so I'm off tomorrow. So this is a good evening.
That's good. Hey, I just wanted to really quick thank you guys for YouTube content creators the past couple of weeks since the season ended. Man. It's been rough to say the least. And so for all of you guys that are jumping into comment sections, liking videos, stuff like that, I want to say thank you.
It helps
because it does help the algorithm, helps keep things growing in the right direction. And believe it or not, people do unsubscribe from Waaaay Offsides. I don't know why.
No way.
I take it personal.
Dude, that's
Every
whack.
time it happens, I cry. Jeff has to console me. I send Jeff a text. I'm like, we lost 2 subs today, and he's like,
he's shut the show down multiple times. I've had to.
Yeah, I'm like, buddy, I think
bring
we're
him
done.
back.
We're cooked. We're cooked, chat.
He said it's tumbling. Here's where it starts. That's where it starts.
It's over, man.
It's over.
Right. But with that, we have a brand new viewer of the week and a brand new certified ball knower of the week. Lance,
Do we?
it's not you yet. You're a given. Okay. You're like all-star status. All right. So you don't even need a certificate. In fact, next time we do a live show, I'm going to have your name somewhere in the background. That's because you're so instrumental. All right. Actually, before we get there, Justin is backstage. Justin, you give us a thumbs up whenever you're ready to go, brother. All right.
All right. That's what we like to see. Yeah. Let's bring him in here. Hang on.
Any minute.
Go back to our.
Any minute. Wait, what?
There we go.
Hey, man, how you
get
doing?
there eventually, man. We'll get there eventually.
I'm good. Can you guys hear me good?
We can hear you just fine.
So, that's great. That's great.
We're already getting recruiting questions, brother. It's crazy. Like folks are amped up, and for good reason, man. This staff's recruited really, really well the past couple of cycles at the high school level. I kind of am expecting the same thing. Just in general, we'll jump right into it, man. First of all, hope your week's going great. What's your outlook, dude? What's your outlook on this 2027 cycle? Do you kind of expect something similar to what we saw in 2025 and 2026?
Yes, I expect this to be another great class for Kalen DeBoer and his staff. On one of those things where they continue to it looks. I know a lot of people complain about the transfer portal and how it's set up and everything like that, and how Alabama probably didn't fare as good as probably some of the fans would have wanted them to fare, but. On the recruiting trail, you hear nothing but good news from recruits about the Crimson Tide. That factor of what they seem to always have had since I've covered Alabama football of, when I get the Alabama offer, it's great. It's one of the best offers you can get out there. It's one of the premier programs. You hear that, and one of the things a lot of Alabama fans, I guess, they would love to hear right now, and one of the things that kind of, I won't say it's shocking, but it just shows you that, hey, this Kalen DeBoer staff is doing such a good job on the recruiting trail, is that I still consistently hear, whether it's a parent or a player say, I think Alabama's a leader right now. They have flat out told me for some 5-star prospects, whether they don't want to say it publicly or not, they've said, Alabama looks like the leader right now. It looks like Alabama right now needs for some top tier guys that the Crimson Tide are recruiting hard. So all signs point to another great class for Alabama on the recruiting trail.
That's really good to hear. And you brought up families. We've done a couple of interviews. We had Trent Seaborn on a couple of weeks ago. Obviously, Xavier Griffin, his mom were on with us back in the fall, and they brought up the culture. Everybody we've talked to, whether it's a recruit, their families, they're bringing up the culture around Alabama in terms of recruiting and this brotherhood. And a lot of these kids seem to be really buying into it. And from the recruits you've talked to, the information you've gathered, you feeling the same thing?
Yes, I think one of the things that's going to be really important for a team, like you're going to see with Alabama, you're going to see with Ohio State, you're going to see with a lot of top-end programs. I think a lot of times we get kind of fooled about the portal and how the portal works sometimes, but the top-tier programs are still going to recruit at the high school level at a very high level, like Alabama is. So I think that's going to continue. But, going back to your question about the whole culture aspect, I think is something that we are continuing to see with this group of recruits. I think that's something that we're probably going to hear them talk a little bit more about when they get on campus this spring, when they get more on campus during the official visits. 'Cause I think right now it's kind of like at the point of recruiting cycle where you build the foundation of your class, and a lot of these kids probably don't know as many players on the team as they will eventually know, because they're gonna a lot of these guys are gonna visit during the spring, a lot of them are gonna visit during the summer. So I think that whole culture thing is gonna come up a little bit more as they spend more and more time with some of these guys, because as you guys know, you guys are following recruiting. There's a good chance that half of Alabama's 2027 recruiting class has never been on campus yet as of now, because they're gonna visit in the spring, they're gonna visit in the summer. Some guys are just their first. It's not crazy to think that, hey, when a guy officially visits, it's going to be the first time in Tuscaloosa. That happens from time to time. So I think we're going to hear a little bit more about that. But you are right. That's what we consistently heard during the 2026 recruiting cycle. And I've talked to other reporters who cover Alabama football recruiting, and they want things that they told me that, hey, I feel like at that point where it was like the first game of the season where they were saying, hey, whether we were just having a conversation, they were like, yo, I don't think these guys are going anywhere. Guys are committed to the Crimson Tide at the time. I think they're locked in. They're ready to go. They're ready to get to Tuscaloosa. Now, Alabama did a pretty good job holding on to that 2026 class as a whole. So I think that's something that we saw a lot during the 2026 cycle. I think you will most likely see it during the 2027 class as well.
Yeah, I agree with you. And like you said, man, things will really get revved up in the summer with official visits, but we're kind of already seeing those getting scheduled all over the place, which is really, really exciting.
Yeah.
A lot of you guys are putting in some really hard work, long hours. So first of all, thank you for that. You brought up kind of the portal versus high school recruiting, and I agree with you 100%. I think that those prevalent programs that want to build long-term success are still going to focus heavily on high school recruiting and use the portal to kind of supplement what they're doing. With that in mind, what area do you think Alabama potentially needs to target the most in this 2027 recruiting class?
That's an interesting question that I kind of struggle to answer during this current era of college football, simply because in the past, when I've always looked at that, you pull out the roster, then you look at, okay, you're losing 5 guys at this position. They're going to graduate. This guy's most likely going to the NFL if he has a great season. And then you look at the numbers. You're want a younger guy who probably can come in and play right away, right here. And that's typically how you would operate. But in today's era, it's kind of hard to say, because who really leaves it, and how can I predict who leaves at the end of the season next year in terms of the transfer portal? That's the most difficult part when it comes to answering that question, because you don't know how many guys you're going to lose. Because if you would have told me Alabama's going to be down to that many receivers, it's the time that we saw them at, if you told me that midway half through the season, I would have told you were lying, that Alabama was going to lose Isaiah Horton or some of the guys that they eventually lost. So it's kind of really hard to say. But if you look at it from a roster perspective, I guess you kind of can turn the table back and say, okay, you're going to lose a lot of these guys, so maybe you load up on this position. So you say defensive back, that's kind of the downside of when you have an experienced group coming back. You have guys who are really talented. You could look up and you could lose all of those guys to the NFL next year, because Xavier is really good. He's elite. I think Xavier has the opportunity to be one of the best cornerbacks in college football next season. Of course, Dijon Lee, he will return. He will not leave. But I don't think if Red Morgan has a great season, maybe he can leave. But of course, you're going to lose Keon Sabb, Brayson Hubbard, Bray Hubbard. So I think defensive back, just looking at the numbers, that hey, you're going to lose some of those guys simply because of graduation, and those guys are going to move on. Probably the flip side of linebacker, because you're going to have young linebackers. Maybe those guys come back for another season. You always are going to want to load up on defensive linemen. It looks as if Kane Womack wants to, because he rotates defensive linemen like nobody's business. I feel like they rotate almost every play. So I think he wants to. That's a position that they're gonna want to load up on. I think receiver is a position that we may see them put more attention on, simply because, hey, if you're Alabama, you don't want to be back in that position again where you only have 4 or 5 receivers at one point on a scholarship. So like I said, it is a struggle to answer that question, because it could be totally different. I could look up, God forbid, for Alabama's sake, we could be looking up at the end of next season. Alabama needs some quarterbacks. Alabama needs some running backs. You never know what it could be in this new era.
Yeah, it's an interesting. Sorry, Jeff, but it's an interesting look, the way the portal kind of changes how you strategically have to look at your roster, because you're right. You may be thinking going into next year's recruiting class, okay, we got to look at linebacker or, defensive line. And then all of a sudden, boom, you need wide receivers. Yeah. And so go ahead, Jeff. What were you going to say, bud?
Well, I was going to say, here's a question that's easy easy to answer for those of us like me, or that happen to be watching, that aren't our ear to the ground in recruiting news every day, every minute. Where are we in the cycle right now? Where are we in the world of recruiting currently as of the last week of February, heading into March, getting ready for spring?
Yes, I call this the foundational stage, in my opinion. I feel this is where you build the base of your recruiting class. A lot of guys who are verbally committed to you likely have been committed to you for quite some time now, like Jabarius Guerra for the Crimson Tide. Trent Seaborn, I feel like he's been committed for not as long as Jabarius, but he's been committed for some time. Colt Lumpfers, he's probably been recruited. I think he's been committed for probably about a couple months. I think he committed in December. Then you have Nash Johnson, who's kind of been committed as long time as well. So we kind of like in that foundational stage, which you're building the base of that class. And what the coaching staff is really doing right now is building relationships, and they are at different stages with different guys. There are some guys who have held Alabama offers for years, who Alabama's in a really good position with, like Elijah Haven, like a KJ Green, who has come out and say the Crimson Tide is number one in his recruitment. So you have guys like that. You have guys who are getting Alabama offers probably as we speak, who we really don't even know about, like the receivers who received Alabama offers on yesterday. So the Alabama's just extended that offer. They probably just building their relationship. Probably have been in contact with some of those guys probably for just a couple of weeks. So they're trying to build up those relationships, and then probably some guys in between there where they probably have been talking to them for a couple of months or for a couple of weeks. So they're at different stages with different guys. So right now you're trying to build your foundation. You're really technically the next step where they are really probably focusing on now is how many guys can we get down in the spring? Like how many guys can we get down to see the program doing spring practice for the spring game, 8A, whatever it's going to be? How many guys can you get on campus? And typically, if you can get those guys on campus in the spring, it's a lot easier to get them on campus for an official visit during the summer. Typically, I want to say probably, if I had to take a guess, probably 80% of that class who signed with Alabama, probably 80% of them probably got on campus at some point during the spring and got back for that official visit as well. So that's kind of like where we're at. It's kind of like an in-between zone where like I said, really that where they're really building that foundation. And like I think just based on my experience of me reporting it, it's probably about to get to the point where a lot of Alabama fans get really antsy about this class moving slowly. Why everybody else got the 5 stars and Alabama has no commits? That's approaching. That time is that time of the year coming. Is approaching for sure.
Yeah, that's coming.
No, you're absolutely right. Tell everybody, like, hold on, wait till the end of summer. It always picks up. So Alabama's, Kalen DeBoer and their staff comes in, Justin, and they've very little turnaround. They don't recruit the state of Alabama well in 2025. Flip the switch in 2026. Obviously, Tank Jones goes out of state, but in terms of winning,
no
worries. No worries. That's the least weird thing that's ever happened on the show. But Tank Jones goes out of state. How do you feel the outlook is in-state recruiting for Alabama right now in 2027?
I think it's in a good spot. Yeah, and that's one of the things that concerned me, because I think maybe most people know it, but I think sometimes it gets looked over. With me being a guy from Alabama, grew up in Alabama and everything, and I think a lot of times that gets forgotten about. That hey, Alabama was this dynasty, but it wasn't built entirely from the outside. There's so many guys who were legends under Nick Saban who were homegrown talent. And there's a long list of guys we can just rattle off names and talk about. So I think that never should be forgotten. And when you take a look at this state of Alabama, with me covering with more of an emphasis in state, a lot of times the state of Alabama is loaded with a lot of talent in so many different ways that you're going to need to tap into, because I say this because specifically, and it's just my opinion, looking at it and just hearing what I'm hearing and hearing all the conversations about NIL and the portal and all of those different things. And I think it's no coincidence that a lot of those guys who Alabama pulled out of the portal are guys who have roots in Alabama. Some of them are coming back home. So I think it's the fact still remains that a lot of these kids grew up in that Nick Saban era, watching Alabama dominate, watching Alabama have all this success, and it is their dream to play for Alabama football. So in terms of the NIL, in my opinion, I think you can possibly get that discount. You still get that Alabama in-state discount if you find a really good in-state kid, because those kids still love Alabama. That's the only Alabama. Only thing Alabama has to do is call. Then they'll commit on the spot. That's exactly what happened with Aubrey Walker. Aubrey Walker was an underrated kid. We knew about him early on. I thought he had potential. He's a guy who I wasn't sure Alabama was going to come after him, but I just thought he was just a decent in-state receiver with speed, with potential. I thought he could possibly squeeze in somewhere. So Alabama offered him. He committed on the spot. Like I literally got the phone call like seconds after he committed, and basically saying he's going to Alabama. So that still remains, not just with him, not just with the guy who's more underrated. That still remains with those 5-star guys. Although they didn't come out and say it, Cedarian Morgan thought the same way. EJ Crowell thought the same way. Crowell had big time offers early on. His first offer was Oregon, if I'm not mistaken. You can't get much bigger than that if it's not an Alabama or Georgia, Ohio State, than Oregon. So, but his whole thing, he was waiting on that Alabama offer. He was waiting for the Crimson Tide to call him and extend it offer, even though he was an elite prospect, even though he had all of these things working in his favor. So, in my opinion, in-state has to be a major focus for Alabama in terms of this NIL era, because I still think that Alabama discount is alive.
That's an interesting take, because we don't think about the fact that a lot of the kids that are being heavily recruited right now, a huge majority of them grew up at Alabama fans because they grew up in that golden Nick Saban era. Monshon Sells posting his room covered in Alabama stuff, living in Indiana now. A lot of folks are really excited about him, of course, potentially Elijah Haven. Let me ask you about quarterbacks. In your mind, with the potential Alabama's favored via all the insiders and things like that for Elijah Haven right now, with the verbal the hard commit from Trent Seaborn, how does that pan out in your mind long term?
Yeah, that's interesting. I think one of the things that we have to consider right now, I think a lot of it, in my opinion, quarterback is a position, if you're a coaching staff from a recruiting perspective, you can't play around with it in terms of the numbers, because you got to have a great quarterback, or your quarterback position got to be in a great position if you want to have success. And of course, there's pressure on everybody, but there's always pressure on Alabama and Kalen DeBoer, and can't really put into words how much pressure is on Kalen DeBoer in Alabama. It just comes with the job. It comes with the title. But when you take a look at this particular quarterback position, I think they are loading up because of what you're saying in terms of the numbers, because of that pending transfer portal. And this is the way I look at it, and I think most coaching staffs look at it. You're going to get bit by the portal. I say the portal hits everybody. It don't go easy on no one. It's aimed at everyone. It hits everyone about the same. There's some people harder, but it hits you regardless of what level it does. So, in my opinion,
no one's safe.
Yeah, for sure. In my opinion, I think this Alabama's approach to this quarterback recruiting landscape is that, hey, this is a position that we need. If we really like a guy or two, we need to get them. And we need to lock them in, and we let them settle it on the field. At the end of the day, you can always sell that competition type of thing. Eventually, you got to look at it, because it's the game. That, hey, you likely could lose a guy or two. That's possible. That's one of the things I think you, as a coaching staff, I guess the front office, you can say now in this new era of college football, I think you have to be prepared that, hey, that's the reality. It's closer to highly likely that you're going to lose guys to the portal.
Absolutely. Something I've noticed with this staff as well, we talked about in-state recruiting. When it comes to, I guess you could call them pipeline states, there's a heavy emphasis on the state of Georgia. A very heavy emphasis. You brought up KJ Green out of Stone Mountain. Do you feel like that is a solid approach, or do you feel like the staff needs to be focused a little more in-state?
I think it's a great approach. Georgia has some great prospects because of the population. They're just going to have typically a lot more prospects than the state of Alabama has. I I technically don't have see a problem technically with that. The biggest thing with anything, whether you are targeting guys from California, wherever you're targeting them from, my biggest approach is for Alabama is that you just can't forget in-state though. That's one of the things I just feel like you can't skip over. Hey, and maybe in situation there are guys you like better in other places, and I totally get that. But one of the things I feel like you don't want to do is commit too much out of state and just forget in-state in general, which they're not going to do. I don't think Alabama staff is well informed and they know who is inside the state and who they need to target and all those things. So I think that's very, very important because, heck, I always say whenever I make that argument that how important in-state is, hey, which Alabama fan would argue against having a roster with some of the top talent that has come from Alabama in recent years? Who would turn down having Quinshawn Judkins, Cam Coleman, Peter Woods, Tamarion Parker on your team, along with Deontay Pierre, along with Red Morgan, Ryan Williams, and those are all homegrown talent. So, so in my opinion, I think it's important to definitely get the best players. I'm not saying go get a worse player in state and ignore a better player out of state. You definitely get the best players, but do your due diligence in state because there's a lot of talent there.
Yeah, you definitely hit on what I was kind of getting at. Is sometimes there's talk amongst those who follow recruiting that the staff focuses out on the West Coast a little too much. Yeah. And honestly, without saying, I'm trying to remind, like they are really heavily recruiting the Southeast. Yeah. And we won't keep you too much longer, but folks are going to want to know names. In your opinion, can you throw out a couple of names that folks need to watch throughout the spring as we get closer to the summer that you feel Alabama's in a good position with?
Elijah Haven is at the top of that list. I'll watch him closely. Sure. 5-star quarterback, great quarterback, effortless thrower of the football, athletic. He really likes Alabama, and his recruitment is really interesting in a lot of different ways because I feel it goes against what we are hearing and what a lot of fans complain about because his top four is not the teams that typically we say that are what we call it the big spenders or whatever. And that's kind of it's different when there's a guy that high profile. And then also you look at a guy's high profile that's him. And I say this all the time, and I'm a proponent of it. I know some fans see it that way, and some players see it that way. Hey, I want to go play with the best. I'm gonna compete. I'm gonna field. I don't care who's signing with me. That wouldn't be my approach, Holloway, if I was a recruit. I'm like, yo, who's signing with me? I need to know, can I beat you out by my junior year, or like, I know I'm good too, but I don't need 3 5-stars coming in with me in my position. But a lot of kids embrace that. And Elijah Haven seems to be a guy who has no problem with that. Trent Seaborn has no problem with that. And I commend those guys. Hats off to them
for a wicked quarterback room.
Yeah, for sure. For them taking on that challenge of wanting to do that. So Elijah Haven is at the top of that list. Adrian Pauly, the defensive lineman out of McGill-Tulane, I put him in there. Versatile defensive lineman, just checks all of the boxes that Alabama looks for on a defensive line. I think Kane Womack, if you can't play multiple positions across the defensive line, he don't want you in terms of a recruiting standpoint. So I put Pauly in that conversation as a guy who the Crimson Tide are in a good position with, but there are other schools in a good position with him as well. So I watch out for Pauly. Antoine Jackson is another edge guy I like. He's a guy Alabama's coaching staff has done a really good job recruiting to this point. I put him in that conversation. KJ Green, he's come out. He's told me that Alabama was his number one. Of course, a lot can change. I've seen that. I've seen a lot of kids tell me that, and it goes a different way.
It's fluid,
eventually, it's super, super early. So he's in that conversation as well. A guy who I really like, a guy who I'm really high on in terms of his talent is Junior James from Thompson. That kid film is remarkable. I like how versatile he is. He's long, 6'3". Alabama's in a good position with him. He is eyeing an official visit with the Crimson Tide. It's going to be his first one in terms of, it's not going to be his first one, but that's the only one that he has locked in or close to being locked in right now. Of course, he's going to take others because he got programs recruiting him like Alabama, Auburn, Texas A&M, schools across the country. Really like Junior James for a lot of different reasons. I think he is like a 3-star, 4-star on a lot of recruiting sites right now. I think that can change. I think he could challenge for a 5-star rating eventually because I'm really, really high on his potential. So I put him in that conversation. He's the guy who wants to make a summer commitment, actually. So I put Alabama right in the mix for him. And there's so many. Like there's other guys
it's a lot.
in it, but those are the guys, like I said, who I've followed who I think Alabama's in a really, really good position with. Like, say, probably can name 10 more because they've done such a great job recruiting so far in this 2027 recruiting class. So if you're an Alabama fan who follows recruiting heavily, I think it's going to be that same trajectory. Like I said, hey, it may be slow. Eventually, it's going to pick up. They're in a good position with a lot of good recruits. And from everything that we're looking at and everything that we're evaluating, seems as if they may, at least, it's hard to say this is the coaching staff's direct approach, but from the outside looking in, it looks as if, hey, they're putting more of a priority on, hey, we're building through the high school ranks. Like, we good with the portal. Like, the portal is, we definitely can get pieces. And you want success in the portal. You want great guys in the portal, but looking at them and looking at the way that they've approached it, it looks as if they are approaching it more saying that, hey, we can build through the high school ranks, because in a lot of ways, like you guys have seen, the guys who they have signed are still there. The guys who their guys are mostly there. And a lot of guys who did leave are Nick Saban guys and guys who were there before them. But the guys who they recruited, they mostly are still intact.
Yeah, I equate it to building a house. You know,
Yeah.
you got to lay that foundation first, and they're choosing to do that at the high school level. Obviously, some fans
That's a great point.
they're worried about Alabama becoming kind of like a
Yep.
farm system for other schools by doing that.
Yep.
But I think what we talked about earlier, the culture that they're trying to build, they're banking on the fact that that's enough to keep kids invested in Tuscaloosa and hopefully keep them out of the portal. And you're right, they've done a great job. I think out of the guys that they've recruited to Alabama, the only one they've lost is Micah DeBoer, I think, at this point. Maybe. I don't know. But
It is really low for sure.
I think you're right.
yeah, it's definitely low. And then another point is, you know, you talked about a couple of names that folks may not be as familiar with because everybody wants to look at stars.
Yeah.
But this staff has been excellent at talent evaluation. And there's a couple of running backs that folks are talking about, Trey Martin and Newkirk, that I think are both high on Alabama in good position. They look fantastic.
Yeah.
But Bama's in the running with a lot of these big time 5-star guys, especially the offensive linemen, Maxwell Hiller, Kamara.
Yeah, Hiller,
yeah. And so I think it's going to play well for us, man. I'm excited about it. I know you are.
Yeah, for sure.
So, but Justin, we don't want to keep it too much longer, man. I know you probably got some stuff to do, but tell everybody, please, where to find you, and thank you for joining us today.
Yes, for sure. You can find my content at touchdownalabama.com. Find me on Twitter at JDSmith31Smith. As you guys know, cover Alabama football. Also shines a light on a lot of in-state kids from Alabama as well. So thank you guys for allowing me to come on the show for sure.
Dude, always,
Appreciate you, Justin.
Yeah, it's always a treat, dude. Enjoy the rest of your evening. God bless, and roll tide.
You guys have a great night.
Thanks.
Roll
man.
Tide, Justin.
All right.
Oops. All righty.
That was good, man. Yeah,
That was
good. Really good.
Thank you, Justin, for the time. That was good info, man. He was
really good
bringing
info. I didn't want to
that.
keep them too long. There's a lot of questions in here. We had some.
Sorry, we just can't get to all of them, but
yeah, but
His time's
I'll try to
limited.
touch base on a couple of these really quick, Jeff, before we move on from recruiting.
no. rock and
Yeah,
roll.
Bob Adam, please update O-line Maxwell Hiller. Alabama's in really good shape here. However, Florida is making a very big push. I would say right now, Florida is the leader in that recruitment. That comes straight from the horse's mouth from the guys over on 3. I think it was Steve Wiltfong who said it. Alabama's got a little bit of ground to make up there. Hiller will be on campus for an OV. And so I think it's really going to come down between Florida and Alabama here. Another guy that is committed to Alabama that I want you to keep an eye on that Justin brought up is 6'7" tight end Colt Lumpras. Penn State's making a big push there for him. So I'm going to keep an eye out on that one. He's been committed to Alabama for a while. Came out and basically said, I'm not an inline guy. I've never played inline. I like to catch the ball, but he plans on working on that over the summer to kind of level his game out so that he's a better
Man, you
fit.
got to get a guy named Lump. If you got Lump in the name, you got to get that. Imagine that marketing scheme. I mean,
No
that's a
kidding,
marketing
man.
gold mine right there.
Oh goodness, that's funny. Hey, I'm going to answer that question. Adam, Touchdown Alabama Radio. I believe that is basically them like on SoundCloud, Spotify, things like that. You can go listen to it. Just Google or go to Spotify and put in Touchdown Alabama Radio, and you'll find their content there. That's what that is. Also, find Waaaay Offsides while you're there too, because Jeff's been doing really hard work, make sure our stuff gets put up. So,
Thank
let
y'all
me
for
see if we
listening.
have any more recruiting questions before we move forward.
James Meredith, who's that?
Cornerback. It's DB. Yeah, James Meredith III. Alabama's in good position here. I haven't heard a lot. I think we're talking about the same person. Let me double check. I want to make sure. Yeah, he's the number one quarterback. There's a lot of push for him for different places. Last time I checked, I'm trying to just see if there's anything, because I honestly haven't updated anything on him in a little while. But I want to make sure that you get the most up to date. So I'm going to go over and look at 247 because they're usually on top of it. Doesn't look like there's much of a change there for John Meredith. And so if that's who you're talking about, but yeah, he's the number one cornerback in this class, in the 247 class. Does come out of Texas. There's a lot of folks in the state of Texas who want him. Alabama's fighting off those Texas schools. I think Texas A&M might be the leader there. But we'll see.
Possible. It's
We'll see.
possible.
Yeah, definitely.
A&M's always leader for everybody. That's what happens when you bubble and ghoul. Yeah, I butchered his name.
Yeah. God, Tobias. Is it fixed, Jeff? Are we good?
Yes.
Oh, sweet. Sorry about that.
Spirit fingers. That's how
You had me doing earlier. I was like, yeah, Tobias, you threw me off, man. You were like James Meredith. I was like, did I miss somebody?
James Meredith.
I know John Meredith. But yeah, so that's basically what's going on. A lot of recruiting stuff going on. Alabama's setting up a lot of visits. Ismail Kamara will be on campus soon.
Is this Alvin Kamara? Same people? Same fam?
No, spelled completely different. Interior offensive lineman. Alabama's actually pushing for some big time offensive linemen in this class. Maxwell Hiller, Kamara, a bunch of guys you want to keep an eye on. So we'll work on getting more of them on the show for you over the next couple of weeks. Probably won't happen until after A-Day.
They're rebuilding this offensive line. I mean, they are prioritizing recruiting it and filling spots where needed. I mean, this is they got a plan here.
Five Adam, I don't know, man. I mean, I can't speak for them because I'm not on the recruiting staff. I would probably say that it's probably a personnel thing. Maybe they have some target CBs already in this class and they don't want to take another one. And the guy may not have the measurables. I think he's 6'1", and he's like 180. And they really like long cornerbacks. So maybe that's got something to do with it. But what?
It's a little on the short side, 6'1".
Yeah, for sure.
Or what we've been.
Where they dogging you already. Powder.
Is that what that is?
I think so. Or is that lotion?
It looks like hand soap.
Is that lotion?
Whose nickname is hand soap?
Tobias. No, dude, definitely not. No, he worked
also
out
because he's a Banff.
That's true. This staff is excellent. And I mean, Dijon Lee was an easy kind of evaluation, but they're really good at evaluating talent. So you're going to see a lot of names that Alabama gets in this recruiting class that may not have the stars next to it, but they've done a great job so far. So I'm not going to doubt them on the recruiting front. And I think that they've earned that at least. So, all right.
Lee's that dude, man.
It's time to move on. But before we do, if you're new here, like I was saying earlier in the show, YouTube is absolutely murking content creators right now, sports content creators. So please subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave a comment, helps the algorithm.
You might have to turn your notifications off and turn them back on.
Yeah. If you've had your notifications on for a while, make sure you go in, cut them off, cut them back on. That's a big problem too. YouTube is doing this new test where folks who maybe don't watch videos to a channel every time they get a notification, they will actually not notify you anymore.
It's ridiculous.
So yeah. Ooh, okay. I'll check it out. I'll check them out. I'm kind of locked in on the 2027 class right now.
That's Ty's little brother, right?
Yeah, it's Ty's brother. I'll definitely check it out. So
y'all see where Orlovsky said that Ty's the first 8 games of Ty's film were better than Mendoza's?
He's not wrong.
No, he's not wrong at all.
I mean, I'll happily be a Bammer about this. He's absolutely not wrong, especially considering what we've learned about Ty Simpson since the season ended, the back injury.
Jeez. How is he even playing?
I mean, dude finished the season at 190 pounds. Like, dude, come on. Come on.
He's getting killed out there. I mean, he's getting slaughtered out there, 190 pounds. Lord of mercy.
Absolutely. All right. So here's
what I was about to say. That's what help desk says, agent.
Yeah. A little bit, Adam, a little bit. All right. So we're going to do something a little different and a little fun today. We're going to try to keep the energy up. So we got a special edition of hot takes for you guys today. Should I cue the music, Jeff?
Cue it.
On, baby. I can't ever do it and not laugh. I'm not doing that with my voice. It is funny. All right, so here's how this is going to work. Jeff, I've got the topics over here, but they kind of allude to some of the questions I'm going to ask you. Chat, you're going to be a part of this. So what I want you guys to do is as soon as I ask Jeff a question, I want you guys to kind of spam the chat your answer. A lot of these are going to be yes and no. All right. So do you tell me when you're ready, Jeff?
All right.
You need a stretch first?
I do. All right. I want to tweak a hammy here.
I need to warm you up a little bit.
You gotta, you don't just bust out of the gates, man. You gotta stretch your hammies.
Oh, that's good stuff. All right, you tell me when you're ready. Oh, J-Bake with a hot take already. Hold on, we gotta get J-Bake.
Boom.
Austin Mack wins me the Heisman at plus 4,200. How much money did you put down on it, J-Bake? I know you put something down, man.
Hey, dude, J-Bake's gonna have the last laugh.
Yeah, he's going to be walking away richer than all of us.
And it still won't be good enough for DeBoer. He'll have a Heisman winning QB, and they'll find something else that he didn't do like Saban.
All right, you ready? We're rapid firing hot take questions. All right, this is a spicy one right off the bat. In 2026, Jeff and chat, will Alabama try to be realistic here? Will Alabama finally, after years of not, have a 1,000-yard receiver?
Yes.
Really?
Who's only one, though?
There can only be one.
There can only be one Highlander.
Who's it going to be? Lance says no. Saban Vickery says yes. Bama Girl says yes.
I didn't think about who is going to be. If I had one guess for my life, I would say Lottie.
I agree with you. I was going to say yes, and Lottie is the guy too. I think Clint said that earlier this week, and I agree with him 100%.
If Ryan solves his dropping problems, he's a walking 1,000-yard guy, I think, in this offense. But if he continues to catch it with his neck, then no.
You know, what's interesting to me is
I agree with that, Smitty. It's going to be spread around.
Yeah. Do you
think? I think there's going to be some big plays.
This isn't part of the segment, but it's kind of a follow-up question. What I just asked you. Do you think that the clock rules, the running clock, impacts a team's ability to have a 1,000-yard receiver? Because you're not getting as many snaps in.
Say it cuts the snaps down. I'd love to see that average number of snaps before and after that, to see how many snaps you lose with the running clock like that.
Yeah. So
over the course of a game,
I think last season there were 22 or 23 guys that finished with 1,000 yards receiving. And I went back a couple of years because I couldn't remember when the running clock was implemented. So I went back like 4 years. Mm-hmm. And that season there were almost 40 people that finished the season.
That has a 1,000 yards
receiving. So very interesting.
Because offenses are pretty explosive nowadays. You know, I mean, but they're also spreading the ball out between 4 and 5 guys, plus some tight ends now are getting in the mix. And so I also think it's harder to have one guy have that many opportunities to get 1,000 yards. But I also think there's going to be some big plays in there this year for us, which is going to help with that.
The other part of that is, interestingly enough, Alabama couldn't finish the season was a 1,000-yard receiver last year, and they couldn't run the daggone football. I mean, they were relying heavily on the passing game and still couldn't finish with 1,000 yards.
Lance, he got hurt in the 6th game of the season.
The Jalen Waddle.
The Jalen Waddle thing.
I thought about that when
you speak about young Jubitus.
Yeah. Jalen Waddle's kind of like the dude. So
he is that dude.
We're mindful about blasphemy towards Jalen Waddle around these here parts. All right. Got another one for you.
Have careful how you speak of him.
All right. Do you think tight ends finally will be a featured part of this offense in 2026 with the new tight ends coach, Richard Owens? Everywhere he's been, Louisville included, he's had pretty good numbers in terms of receiving tight ends. Do you think we get back to the days of old of having tight ends actually catch the football and make some noise, not only on 4th and 3rd down?
I mean, yes and no. I think, yes, they're going to be more involved in the offense, but I don't think you're going to see any tight ends with any eye-popping numbers. But I think they're going to be a part of a big part of the offense. But yeah, like I said, I think you're going to have a bunch of guys with a couple 200-300 yards receiving, maybe spread out over 3 or 4 guys, just because I don't think the tight end is going to be a game-breaking part of the offense, but I do think it'll be a part.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. The reason I'm asking that question is because a lot of people think with the addition of Richard Owen that is to kind of help Alabama's tight end game through the air, and I kind of disagree there. I think Owens really came in as to bring in another coach whose philosophy falls in line with physicality. Adrian Clems does, Derek Nix does at the wide receiving position, and Owens does for the tight ends. If you go back and look at places he's coached, it was very often you would see those offenses in 12 personnel, things like that. Those tight ends are, got a hand in the dirt. Mm-hmm. They're getting up and catching bodies. And so I think, yes, better than last year. I don't think they're going to be a safety blanket like Josh Cuevas was. But
yeah, we don't have anybody like that, I don't think.
Yeah, I struggle to say yes, like confidently, because who's it going to be? Is it going to be Max Sutter? Is it going to be Marshall Pritchett? Is it going to be Danny Lewis? Yes, it is a very versatile position. Josh Ford, the transfer.
Caleb Edwards is in that mix too, Lance. You're right. I mean, Edwards was, fantastic as a stretch, but he played pretty well.
It's a great.
He needs to get quicker feet though. He moved like he had a fridge on his back. So he needs to get a little speed training, a little quickness training in this offseason in this program. So, yeah, but he's definitely got the athletic ability and the size.
All right,
but before you move off though, Cotton, right quick. But you're seeing these. Look at the 3 major changes in coaches personnel was offensive line, tight end, receiver. All 3 have to be functioning to have an effective running game. So you're seeing him rebuild every aspect of being able to run the football when you have to, which is good blocking tight ends, good blocking receivers, good blocking linemen, and good running backs. And he's working on all that. So he's seen the deficiency there and is working on it.
Absolutely. Oh, we got a super chat from Mattress Matt. Owens coach O-line.
I'm getting there. I'm sorry.
You're okay. Owens coached the O-line that beat Miami. The best D-line. So I actually went back and watched that game, and the O-line held up okay in that game. Keep in mind that we're talking Ruben Bain, some of the best pass rushers in college football in 2025. And I have to be honest, what lost that game for Miami was Carson Beck. Carson Beck threw 4 picks in that game.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Who called that all year?
Yeah, it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. I know I made the sloth picture and everything. But yeah, they held up pretty well compared to what you would think a Louisville offensive line would hold up. to that pass rush. So definitely excited about it. But back to Bama Girls question, because I want to use that as a segue into the next the next question here. Jeff, will Austin Mack take the first Alabama snap of 2026? Don't worry about your camera. It's fine. No one cares.
Can't deal with this stuff.
Punch it right
yes.
right in the cervix. Sorry.
Yes, I'm going to say yes.
Yes, I agree with you. Chat, what do you say? I know it's driving you nuts, man.
It's making me get so close. There we go. Stay with me. There we go. All right.
That's my
yes. I think he will be QB1, but I think it's going to be I think he's going to win the job. I don't think he's the leader going in. I think they're all going to have a clean slate, but I think he's going to win the job. I think Keelan's going to give him all he wants, but I think his experience in this offense has to mean something. Has to not mean something in terms of loyalty, but it has to pay off in terms of his ability to run the offense and play at a high level in this offense. His time in it has to pay off somewhere.
Sure. I agree with you. It just seems like the most viable option. I will say though, for those of you who think I'm pushing Mac over Keelan Russell, if it's even a little bit close, you go with Russell. That's my opinion there. You go with Russell. You get 2 years out of him, potentially 3, without a doubt. Tobias, great minds, baby. Great minds.
Yes, I agree. If it's close.
Adam says no.
But if Austin wins the job clear cut in camp, I will feel good. But I agree. If they're neck and neck, you got to go with the kid. I mean, that's DeBoer's bread and butter. That's his Tua. I mean, that's the golden goose right there.
Absolutely. I hate you.
And call me Candy since college, baby. Ooh.
Oh, watch out. I got to regain myself here. All right, let's do some big picture questions, Jeff. In 2026, does Alabama have a Heisman finalist? You don't have to say who it is unless you want to. Chat, I know you're going to want to say who it is, so tell me. Yes or no?
No.
No.
No, I don't think they're going to have a Heisman finalist. No.
Okay. Do you think they're going to have somebody in the race up until the very end?
Whoever the quarterback is, whoever wins the quarterback job is going to be in the discussion for, 3/4 of the season. But it's hard to say without having seen the majority of these guys play significantly. So
yeah, but that's what makes this fun.
I'm going to say not yet. I'm going to say we're a year away from having a Heisman finalist.
Yeah, cornerback ain't getting it, Lance. Come on, man. I'm going to say no as well. I'm going to say no as well. Obviously, if there was one, it would be a quarterback. Now, if Keelan Russell ends up being the guy all season, I could see that happening. I think a lot of people that are saying yes, that's probably what they're thinking. Or Ryan Williams finally balls out. I don't think Alabama's sending a running back or anything like that.
Whoever the quarterback will be, I think would be whoever our finalists would be.
Gotcha. All right. I got one for you here. How many games? All right, I'm going to look at the schedule really quick, Jeff. Alabama plays. I need to look at the schedule and make sure I have the right one so I can tell you why is that so small. Oh my goodness. I can't. Okay, we're going to do a different question. I can't read that. Sorry. I was going to say, here we go. Does Alabama go undefeated at home in 2026?
Oh gosh.
Yes.
Who are the home games? Obviously the first 3, right? Are we at Kentucky in week 2?
So home games are as follows: East Carolina,
Yes.
Florida State, South
Yes.
Carolina,
Yes.
Georgia at home.
Ooh.
You get Texas A&M at home. Then you're doing Chattanooga at home, and I think the Iron Bowl's at
And
home.
Auburn at home. That's 7. It'll be 7-0 at home.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's a tough home slate, dude.
No, I'm saying we're going to drop one of those. If I had to pick one, I'd say Georgia.
Yeah, and I'll second that just because it's kind of at a weird spot in the season. Now, Alabama played its best football last season around that same time. I wouldn't be surprised to, a late October loss to Texas A&M or something like that at home.
I mean, I could see that too. I think we'll lose one of those. I think we're 6-1 at home is probably a little. That could be tough. That's even tough thinking they can do that.
I will give it. My hot take is this, though, Jeff, is that Alabama goes undefeated on the road in 2026. They're playing at Kentucky, at Mississippi State, at Tennessee.
Dub. We're winning that freaking game.
At LSU. Yes. And at Vanderbilt.
Well, they don't have Diego. They have a freshman quarterback. Vanderbilt will, of course, by that point in the season, they got enough experience. Not really calling that, but yeah, I did see that about Peak. Oh man, that's tough. No, AJ, I wasn't. We're going to beat LSU. I'm saying because remember I picked LSU to not make the playoffs.
Yes, Agent. I wasn't asleep, man. I was reading my computer screen, and again, I know I say this a lot, but I've got some health stuff going on, and when I have flare-ups, it causes my eyes to swell, so they kind of look like they're shut, but they're not. So I promise.
blink twice if you need help.
I've been having a rough one today, man. It started about like an hour before the show. I was like, oh no.
It's LSU going to be tough at LSU. That's probably going to be a night game. I'm sure that'll probably be the game of the week on ABC, the SEC game of the week. I just think LSU is primed for a bit of a stumble just because they've sunk it all into this year. But that's still going to be a tough place to go win for a first time starting quarterback.
Look, I think LSU has lost like 16 games in Death Valley at night or something like that, and they've lost eight of them to Alabama.
It's a good point, Smitty.
I'm not scared of that place, man.
Lane's never been under this kind of pressure. It's all great when you're giving thumbs up at the basketball games and throwing the L up and checking your bank account, but that's a big reason why I didn't think he would take the job. I thought he would stay where he was simply because he can do no wrong at that point.
We should have known.
Saban talked him into going to LSU, and now you're right, Smitty. It's winter. It's if he goes 9-4 this year, they'll throw him out too.
Yeah, I mean, it won't take long, especially with the money they spent on this class. But that's the other thing, man, is that portal strategy is high risk, high reward. And dude, if it doesn't work, screwed.
Yes, all of a sudden Sam Levitt is like the savior, and I was like, didn't the guy suck last year? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't get it, man.
Suck. That's a stink last year. I mean, he wasn't great. There's a reason why I don't know. He was probably the best available. Outside, what's his name? That went to Oregon, and then the quarterback there decided not to get in the draft, and so he's like, "What?
What do I do?" But
what's his name's son? The Nebraska quarterback.
Oh yeah. What's his name? Is it
Raiola or
yeah? TMU Patrick Mahomes, that guy. Yeah,
Dominic Raiola or something like that.
Yeah,
he went to Oregon, and then Dante Moore said, I think I'm going to come back this year. So now he's stuck with QB2, and you're like, womp, womp, womp.
There's no people talking about Dante Moore coming back. That dude's going to be good this year. But,
yeah, that's big for Oregon.
Yeah, but for the sake of time, that's going to do it for Hot Takes tonight. One more time for the road. All right.
Oh, sorry.
Before we head out, we're going to do it. And then Justin popped in. So we got to do viewer of the week and our certified ball knower of the week. We'll start with viewer of the week. Who's it going to be? Jeff, you want to hit the bongos?
Yes, sir. I will. Sorry. I was watching that chat. Here we go.
Take your time. There we go.
Ayla.
Congratulations. We like that you try to race to be here first. Helps push engagement on the channel. Your certificate is in the mail. Again, Lance, you did not win today, but that is okay because you're an OG. All right. Like you don't need a certificate. You're that guy, bro. All right. Let's look at our certified ball knower of the week. And for those who don't know, all right, we gotta give it to Herman Raj, baby.
Herman Raj. He didn't show up tonight.
I know. I'm kind of mad. If you guys don't know Herman Raj, you know, when they're
go over to their channel and type in hashtag shut up Bill.
Yeah. On every video you see, just hashtag spam them with it. But yeah, Herman Raj are good folks. We love them.
That was great last week.
They've helped us a lot get to where we are through support and things like that. So we wanted to make sure we shouted them out. So yeah,
rigged like the NBA draft lottery. That's not rigged, Smitty. Come on, we know that's all square.
I didn't realize people were actually going to want to win this. I just thought it'd be fun.
Yeah.
But, all right.
Well, we actually have some topics on here we didn't even get to. Host a playoff game. Yes. Road record. Oh, you said undefeated. Yeah. You said they're going to win all the road games. Faith in the offensive line.
So I was just going to ask, do you think Alabama will be able to run the damn ball?
Yes. Not like the Derrick Henry years or anything like that, but I think we're going to be effective running the ball. We actually have some studs in the backfield to have some explosiveness there. So I think that will be a big time improvement.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I agree with you. All right. Just running out.
No, you're right. 5 Adams, 16-0. You heard it here first.
That's a hot take. I don't know about all that.
It still won't be good enough because he didn't win every game by 40 points. Unfortunately,
get him out of here. Fire him straight into the sun.
Like, nope, not good enough.
Get him out. Co-host, a winner gets to co-host for 5 minutes. No, no.
Interesting.
No, putting my foot down. I love all of you delinquents. I love you. With a very
what if they like you better than us? Then we lose the whole thing. So we can't do that.
Yeah, we talked about high risk, high reward. I can't do it. Plus, some of you will get on here and say some crazy stuff,
and then YouTube will get us again.
And some of y'all acting like we're not all in a big old chat together over on X. And I don't see what you guys post. Like I can't even open it when I'm at work because who knows what Dale Oates is going to post it.
Do not open that chat anywhere that could get you in trouble. Best place is on the throne. That's the best place to check that chat.
Required deposit. That's a good idea.
Yeah. 7 yards average per rush. That'll work.
I'll take it.
That'll work.
So, all right, Jeff. I don't know about you, but I'm old and tired, so I am ready to wrap it up. You're going to be in the chat. If you have an X account, just JBait put my JBait put my link in the chat. Just go find me on X, give me a follow, and shoot me a DM, and I'll add you. So I'll probably, if you do it tonight, I'll add you tomorrow. So I'm going to spend some time with the kiddos instead of being on social the rest of the night. So, all right. True. What's the age limit? You got to be 18 or older.
30.
And we verify. Really, you need to be like
28, 27, somewhere around there.
Yeah. Like, and look, like if you're, if you're like have a good credit score, never been divorced, you own your own house.
It's not the place for you then.
You probably don't need
If you have morals, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. Like
probably not where.
Yeah. It's just
probably not.
Yeah. If you have addiction issues, you shouldn't be.
Shouldn't be in there either. It's not really conducive to that.
All Oh,
I
Lance,
love y'all. Oh, I love you guys.
You guys are great. Steven, you're late, but we love you. Welcome in, buddy.
Yes.
All right, let's get out of here.
There goes. You're right, Mason. There goes half the fan base.
So, all right, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us. Please, if you're new here, like I said, if you've watched this and you didn't watch it live, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever the case may be. Got to say it at least once. Please follow us everywhere. Watch on or listen on Spotify on your way to work. Follow, subscribe. Keep supporting the channel. It helps us out. I know Jeff appreciates it. I appreciate it. We love each and every one of you as always. Say your prayers, read your Bibles, wash your hands. Horns down. Beat Auburn and LSU and Tennessee too. Roll Tide.